Hey guys, I know I've been away for a while. You can probably see some of the bumps right now that I have. I developed cystic acne, which is the worst kind of acne. Right after I shot my last video, I immediately just was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to see a dermatologist. So yes, I am getting this treated. If I look slightly plastic or if my face does not really match my neck, oh well, who cares? I'm still figuring out how this whole thing is working because I had to switch up all my makeup. But anyway, I am blabbing. So while I have been away for the past month-ish, I've noticed that I've gotten a lot more new subscribers. People have been watching my Flute 101 video, which I will link here. And I've noticed a lot of people watching my very old review, which I will link here for you. So I've been starting to get a lot of questions about picking your first flute. I thought I would just make a video even though my face is still full of acne. First off, when you go and pick your first flute, especially if you have no idea where to begin, your best bet is to find someone you know who does play the flute. What I typically do for my students is I will actually go with them to pick their first flute because I actually know what I'm looking for. There was once that I actually went with someone. I am so glad I went. I'm not joking. Right here, this little bit right here was actually broken off and he totally didn't notice it at all. You had to weld it back on if you were going to fix that thing. And that was only one of the problems. There was actually another place, I can't remember where, but there was another place in the mechanism that was completely broken off too. It was being sold at a thrift store. Please don't go and look in thrift stores if you are not a professional, okay? Your flute friend will also be able to actually put the flute together and try it out for you. They'll be able to tell which flute has better tone than another one, which head joint, the lip hole right here, which lip hole is cut a little bit more refinedly, is that a word? If you don't bring a flute friend with you, you will have no idea what you're being sold. One of my students was sold a flute that was it broken? I don't think it was actually broken, but there's a screw right in there. That screw was completely out. So the whole foot joint was actually falling apart. There was something else wrong with the flute. One of her keys were sticking. And what I mean by that is like when she pressed it down, it would just stay down. Like it wouldn't come back up, which is really bad because that means that either something is rusted in there or random crap is stuck in there. Make life a little easier for yourself by bringing a friend who actually plays the flute. I realize that not everybody can afford a new flute. You guys can look at used flutes. If you start on a used instrument, you don't have to break it in. It's kind of like breaking in your shoes, you know, like when you get new shoes and it's like really hard and everything, you have to like wear it often enough so that it actually conforms to your foot. Well, the flute is actually kind of like that. That process probably takes a good couple of months, depending on how much you play it, right? If you buy a used flute, you don't have to break it in, it's already broken in. And that is why I say, please bring a flute playing friend with you, okay? Especially if you are looking at used flutes. Okay? Also, used flutes are much cheaper. This is the flute that I started on. This flute was, I think, $700. $700 or $750. So yes, it is quite the investment. My dad actually saved up money to buy this for me, and he wanted to buy a new one for me. He didn't want to buy a used one for me. That's just my dad. He really put in the time, effort, you know, to get this for me. So I love you, Dad. Now, if you were to get this same flute, say, and I don't think I would ever do this, but say you bought this off of me, I could probably only sell it to you for like $400 at most. So, you know, $300 price difference. That's quite a jump. In that case, you could definitely get an even better quality flute for less money. Say you get a flute with like a silver head joint, whereas the rest of the body and the foot are nickel and silver plated. The silver head joint really makes a difference. I'll link my little video here that compares nickel and silver flutes, just so you know what I'm talking about. In terms of actually buying the flute, there's actually a couple of options. You don't have to buy the whole thing from the start. you can do what's called a rent to buy program. Normally, renting a flute, like a beginner student model flute, is about $25 to $30 a month. It works mostly the same way for, I think, all music stores, like across the board. Every month that you put in that $25 to $30 will be credited to actually purchasing the flute. Some stores offer you a program where you can actually go and use that credit to purchase a different instrument, like a better instrument. So that's another option for you guys who don't really know if you want to stick with the flute forever or if you want to stick with that particular flute forever. This is another question that everybody keeps asking me: what brands do you suggest? Obviously, Yamaha, because I started on it. Yamaha is very reliable. I think though they came out with a new model that isn't quite as reliable as the one I have. If you can get this particular model, this is very, very reliable. One of my students used this brand and I actually thought that it was an intermediate model flute, not just a beginner's model flute. So I was really surprised by the quality of it, and it is the Alpine flutes. Not every store though offers this brand because it's not as well known as, say, Yamaha, Gemeinhardt, Jupiter. And also they are cheaper. I think a new flute is only like $400 and the quality is about as good as this. I tried my student's flute and it was really good. I also suggest the Trevor James flutes. They are really good. I had another student who used their flutes. The case that it comes in is like a zipper case too. It's even nicer than this one. And I think price-wise, it was cheaper. I think it was about $600. I would probably rate them #1 among beginner flutes that you should try. Quality is so good. I think they are manufactured in England. That being said, it is not widely sold in the US. I'll link their website and everything in the bottom bars. You can go check them out. And then there are, of course, the other really popular brands, Gemeinhardt, Jupiter. The cutting of the holes and things like that, it's not as refined as, you know, say the Alpine or the Trevor James especially. They're like basically mass manufactured. If your local music store only offers those, you know, it's okay. They're sort of, I would call them mid-level. There are a lot of like low-level stuff that you don't really want to get. So I think that is it for now. If you have any more questions, go ahead and message me. You can message me on Facebook now, actually. You can go to my page and send me a private message if you don't want to spam my wall. You can spam my wall, it's okay. I'm on Facebook the most. Even more than on YouTube, actually. Also, you can talk to me on Twitter if you just want a really quick response. So have fun on your flute shopping adventures. Let me know how they go. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. So your hand will sit right there. Put it this way.